What is up? I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. This is a special Kentucky Derby. Kentucky Oaks blinkers off. What's up, my man?
What is up, man?
We're
here.
Finally here.
We're here.
It's September, but it's Derby week.
Can I drop an F-bomb right off the show? I'm fucking pumped, man. Finally.
It's about fucking time. Okay. We each got our warning shots in there. Right off the bat, it's we are pumped. Woo. Obviously, I'm going on like 2 hours of sleep. You kind of, if you want to know whether it be buying our products, whether it be playing our free picks between you, me, Slim, Magic, Samich, Ricky, the whole team. I mean, it's when it comes to Derby season and any big race, if you want to know if we're fans or not, just follow us, and you can tell the excitement and what we've been doing. It's like we're fans. I mean, we're just pumped up, and by the way, we happen to have a Triple Crown shot on the line, a legit Triple Crown shot with continuing that, and of course, the Oaks is nothing to sneeze at, and as John White would say. So it's a good. I mean, I know it's chalky, but you got some good, solid horses.
Listen, I don't care what it is. We finally have the Kentucky Derby and the Kentucky Oaks, for that matter, 4 months later. So that's great. I'm pumped, man. Yeah, I'm excited. Listen, it may be chalky. Sure, might happen. Also, might not. That's racing. That's how it goes. That's how any big race goes. I'm thankful we have a really good horse to talk about. I'm thankful, 'tis the law. The chance, I call it the quadruple crown. I think that's it. You can win the Triple Crown around the Travers. It'd be amazing. So we're pumped for it. Listen, they're still going to line up that race. It's not the first Saturday in May, first Saturday in September, but still the biggest race in the country. So if you're not excited, probably need to find a different sport, right?
Dude, I mean, yeah, if your juices aren't getting pumped right now, then I don't know what is it gonna take. My mom.
Mom's already on today.
She's on, and she probably heard the F-bomb.
Yeah.
So I'm really. We're very sorry about that, Mom. But we're excited. So
yeah.
I almost said another one, but just. But yeah. So obviously Kentucky, we're gonna do the Derby, the Oaks previews, just some rapid fire. The inside track, make sure you go check that out. It is available right now. I got to get to that right now, and that's probably going to be the best thing I saw today, so I'll just jump right to that because that is finally released. 20 pages between you and me and Samich and Slim's got his. He's doubling down after his pace analysis, which is unbelievable again this year, so shout out to Slim. Magic for doing all the editing. Ricky's got the early pick 5. Samich, I think, has got the middle pick 5 there. Of course, you got multi-race suggestions on the entire card. Slim's got the exotics covered. Got the exotics covered on the actual Kentucky Derby. So it's insane.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, Slim. If you want to go into the best thing I saw today, it's got to be this Slim Pace article. I mean, I think it's the best article we do all year, and it's an award-winning article on top of that. So Slim's Pace article, best thing I saw. It's also on the website right now if you haven't seen it, and the reaction that people have to it every year on Twitter is unbelievable, just to see how many people are tweeting out Slim saying how much they love it. He puts his heart into that, there's no doubt about it. So best thing I saw today, I know we haven't even started it, but I'll just get right into it. It's got to be Saratoga Slim in the Pace article, man. I mean, it's unreal. And hey, how about a shout out? We'll shout him out throughout the show. Right after we're done, this is the second best thing, right? Yep. Magic Mike 200th show. They're making a big deal out of it. It's all about the fans. They're going to answer any questions. It's an open forum show. So yeah, that's the second best thing.
So yeah,
right?
we're kicking this thing off for them. Kind of getting the fans riled up and getting them ready, and then leading right into the Magic Mike show.
Yeah.
And rumor is
we're warming up.
Yeah, we're warming up the crowd for you guys.
Yeah.
Rumor is I might finally be invited to be making. I'm shocked. They must have zero options.
I have a feeling there's something funny planned. so tune into that.
You want
just
to see how that goes, because it's gonna. The first time when you asked me, I was like, I didn't even say yes. I said, "What's your?" Like I was like, "What's your angle? Like what's gonna happen?"
Yeah.
So, but hey, I'll do it. So, it's Derby week, so anything can happen.
Derby week.
All right, real quick before we get in, we have Derby and Oaks, obviously, to talk about some news. So we'll talk a little bit more about it. As in any other week, or any Derby week, I should say, we have the kind of the scratches that you don't want to see. Art Collector being one of the big ones that happened. The field is to 18. South Bend said, "No, don't worry, I'll jump in there.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got you." Art Collector tag, and then King Guillermo today. This is really fresh. We still don't know. I mean, he's still technically in the race. Sounds like we're gonna have something. Maybe by the time you guys, well, at least by the podcast listens to this, we'll know if he's in or out. Sounds like whether he's in or out makes playing him a little more dicey.
No question.
I think you and I both would agree that he went from being like, yeah, right, he's a nobody, to he's starting to get a little bit of momentum on, as far as wanting to play him. Like I'm feeling him out. He at least underneath, like you could see him hanging around. So now it kind of gives you that angle to where you're like, no, that's my solid reasoning. I don't need to play him if he does stay in the race. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think by the time this is over, or maybe the time the Magic Mike show's over, we'll know that answer as to whether he's running or not. My guess is definitely no. But you're right. He was a mystery horse, and now it's like, well, hell, if they're saying 2 days before the race he may not run, obviously not a very good sign. So yeah, King Guillermo for me was kind of a toss anyway. Now he definitely is. So yeah, I guess that is nice because, like you said, he did have some talent, right? I mean, he'd shown a little bit of talent, so he was kind of and he has speed in a race that we'll talk about a little bit later. May not have as much speed as normal, so it was dangerous. Yeah,
him being out or even not 100%.
Well,
definitely helps authentic.
That's another factor we'll talk about a little later.
The
yeah,
horse that is trending the other way for me. Another thing that we could have played, or if you're listening to this on the pod. You've heard it on the opening. If you're listening to this live right now on StreamYard, which is also going through Twitter and YouTube and Facebook. So next time, if you guys listen to this, you guys want to tune into these live because this is where it's at. We're going to be doing live streams as well tomorrow, Friday, for the Oaks. 3-hour show, a build up to the Oaks. Obviously, the undercard races that are going to be on unbelievable. Kind of a lead into the next day's Kentucky Derby. Then obviously on Saturday, we'll do kind of that dead time, that hour wait. We'll do, we'll be on for live stream for that. You and I will be on Mad Dog as well before that. So we'll do Mad Dog, then we'll get on the live stream, then we'll do
Mad Dog again
after the race. Hopefully talking about what we just saw, a great performance.
Yeah, and hopefully we can kill that hour because it's always so long. I mean, I hate that hour. Hopefully we can kill it, make it go by like that. Watch the race, and then you either go crazy one way or the other, right? So
yeah, that's right. Got a shout out to Ryan, our boy Ryan Stillman, who kind of actually Austin from Evil Stevel and the fan team, Austin and Evil Stevel, kind of came out with this, hey, no sleep till Derby or whatever, and basically in typical Ryan fashion. Got a hold of that idea, sent it to this, and here we are. So you heard it on the opening, and you got it. I mean, I'm looking for any reason to play this because this is literally our life right now. No sleep until Derby, and after the Derby, we can sleep.
That's right. That's right.
But no, thanks Ryan for sending that, and then hopefully we don't get sued for playing that song.
Right.
All right, today's show we're going to preview Saturday's $3 million Kentucky Derby and Friday's $1.25 million Kentucky Oaks at Churchill Downs. Then we get rapid fire selections for some of the stakes action on the Churchill Downs undercard Friday and Saturday. Let's go.
That's right.
That was a hyped intro. Like you can, if you
Fast and Furious.
If you can't tell, we're pumped. Then I don't know.
Yeah. Feel good. Oh man, that was a great trip, Slim. 2018 was a great one.
That was a good one. Yeah.
2019 was not.
I'm glad I missed 19.
Well, I mean, 19 was a good trip, just a bad derby.
I still would like to be able to say like I was at the DQ. Like even though like it sucks for you guys, obviously it was awful, but it's still a story. It's almost like you survived it and now you can talk about it.
Yeah, I wish you were there. I wish you were there. Yeah, you would have liked it. It definitely was something I'll never forget. And it was surreal, the 20 minutes of waiting,
Oh,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
So what do we want to talk about first? Oaks?
Let's do Oaks.
Derby?
Let's do Oaks
Let's
first.
just kick it off in order.
Yeah. I was going to say the best thing I saw today, I got a Ring doorbell.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, and I'm liking it. Looks like my aunt and uncle are at the house right now. They're walking in.
You want to talk to them? Say hi?
Nah. I don't want to scare them, but they'll get scared half to death if I do that.
It's pretty cool, though.
It is cool,
I
yeah.
have one like that, too. So, all right, let's pull up some.
It's so funny. They're looking around like, what's going on?
Have they been there yet?
I don't know. I don't think so. Yeah. About Ricky's Rockets. Kid just hit. Yes, he did, man. Ricky, you got it, son.
He cashed?
You did. He cashed it.
Ricky's Rockets. Yeah, by the way, Ricky's Rockets, who's got info on the guide, $4,500 pick 5? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, and I don't think that's Ricky that actually wrote that, right? Ricky P15 is not actually Ricky, right? It's a fan.
Yeah. He's such a big fan that he uses his picture, too. So, but no, that's awesome.
Yeah. Good job, Rickster.
Yeah, obviously hit us up with questions while we're talking about the Oaks and the Derby. Obviously, there's so many undercard races to talk about. So we're going to kind of do it how we sometimes do those big races where we'll just kind of give our kind of most excited to watch and, value race, that kind of thing. So the Oaks and the Derby will obviously, for good reason, be the two big ones.
Yep. Let's do it.
And for two races, like I said earlier, that don't have a lot of underside, that's very top heavy kind of race. Like they're very good races to watch. It's interesting. We'll talk a little bit how you can maybe try to make money in these races when you normally. Did you say hi?
No.
When it's normally going to be very hard to do it. So, good job, Ricky.
There you go, Rick.
Where did you hit it at, Ricky? Was it Gulfstream?
Yes,
Gulfstream, Slimmy. All right.
BDR, baby. That's what I call Rick.
Big deal, Rick. Is that what it is?
Yeah, exactly.
You've already dropped that bomb. You can. Well, I don't know if the D word's allowed on the show or not.
Give him the D.
No, we're not.
OD. All right.
OD.
Let's do this.
Okay. I swear we're not on drugs.
No.
Although I could probably use some to keep me awake right now. Once the adrenaline wears off, it will be done. All right. 3, 2, 1. Friday, Churchill Downs main event, race 12, the Longines Kentucky Oaks Grade 1. Worth $1.25 million for Phillies 3-year-olds go to 1 miles, and finally we get to see these two match up. Number 1, Swiss Skydiver 8-5. Hard to believe she's sitting there 8-5, and she's not the morning line favorite. Number 5, Yamin for Bob Baffert, even money favorite. We finally get to see these two monsters square up. Donna Veloce, a horse that's been, was very well thought of earlier in the year. Of course, finished second in the Breeders' Cup. 15-1, so some value there if you're looking Speech, kind of the other horse that's kind of been facing these other big dogs and getting beat, but is 5-1. Really comes down to, and it's kind of similar. We'll talk about obviously the Kentucky Derby next with the Honor AP versus Tis the Law. Which angle are you going there? And judging on this one, it's like, are you going Gamine? Or are you going Swiss Skydiver? Well,
yeah, at first I was gonna be the kind of the wise guy, right, and pick Speech, and I thought I just can't do it because I just think Swiss Skydiver and Gamine are better than Speech. So I ended up on Gamine. I won't waste any time. I just think this is a really, really special filly. Yes, I know, these last two races have been around one turn, but she sure doesn't seem to be slowing down much to me, right? And, if the race was at 1 16th, I think she would totally be a lock. I think it's that last furlong that is going to be the question. I fully expect her to be ahead going in to that, that last little bit, and then does she have enough to kind of hold on that last eighth of a mile? That's what we're going to find out, and that's what we're going to see. But overall, I just couldn't go against her. I just think she's just super, super talented. Maybe the most talented filly I've seen, or 3-year-old I've seen this year. Just solid, really, really good. Just bursts away from horses when asked. And if she has that kind of kick around that turn at Churchill Downs, I don't think Swiss Skydiver can catch her. I think she's going to give it everything she can, but I don't think that she'll catch her. And you also have to look at these races that are being run at Churchill Downs over the last 3 days. And I think this is a huge factor. Speed has been golden at Churchill Downs. So I think that's another big factor in her category there. And finally, really another determining factor. I don't think the rail is just horrible for Swiss Skydiver, but I don't think it's going to help her either. So I really like Gamine in this spot. I went with her.
Yeah, it's interesting because you look at what Swiss Skydiver has done this year.
Of course,
and it's just unbelievable what she's been. Obviously, and you're already talking about running her in the Preakness against the boy, and it's like, but we're sitting here and spoiler alert, I'm picking Gamine too, and it's like, so we're both picking against her. It's just when you look at these two horses, you look at Gamine, and I think her performances have just been freaky, like, for lack of a better word, just absolutely freaky. Swiss Skydiver is very good, very, very talented, and I feel like she's going to be Gamine's biggest threat, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I just think we might have something pretty special here with Gamine, and I don't think Bafford's going to run her in this race if he doesn't think she could win.
So Bafford, I saw an interview with him, and they kind of talked about the Derby first for a minute, and he's like, "Yeah, I'm not really worried about it, not nervous. It's like we'll take our shots. If things go right, we got a shot maybe." And then he talked about Gamine, and it's like, yeah. I'm nervous about the Oaks. I really, she's super special. He talks about Gamine, how he talked about a Justify and an American Pharoah. And he even in his interview about his Derby horses, he said, I don't have that kind of horse for the Derby. And then he goes right to the Oaks and talks about her. So, yeah, I mean, the distance is a huge question mark. There's no doubt about it. But, like you said, I don't think he runs her here if he's got, problems with her getting it.
Yeah, we had a question come up. Gamine's gallop yesterday. Some people on Twitter looked like she was off behind, but he thought he just had she had trouble pushing off the slop. Yeah, I didn't necessarily see anything that concerned me. First of all, you got to be careful with anyone on racing Twitter making comments about workouts. But, yeah, I mean, as long as there's no news out there, I don't think there's anything to worry about.
I couldn't tell you if a horse was off and behind no matter what. I'm just going to be real honest with you based on workouts. I have no idea, So somebody, I mean, if Maggie Wolfendale or Acacia Courtney, or I know Chantel Sutherland is there at Churchill, if they're tweeting it and saying it, I would believe it. If it's just random on Twitter, I'm not really worried about it.
That'd actually be really good advice. So, like, if you come across, or if you do hear people saying that, go look, see what they're saying. What the real people are saying, and if there is some validity to that, then I think there's cause for concern. But
there are certain aspects of the game that I don't have an eye for or pick up on when it comes to how a horse moves. I didn't grow up around horses. I don't know a lot about an anatomy of a horse and how they move. If we were standing on the rail with our trainer friends and they said it, then I would definitely be. So who's the source, I guess? But I'm not qualified to give you any input on that whatsoever.
If Gamine powers through the line, do you think she might go for the Breeders' Cup Classic? I think honestly, if she goes and wins like impressively here in the Oaks, obviously the Preakness would be, I would think, very likely next.
Yeah.
I don't see, because Bob Baffert obviously is already saying, I don't have a horse, a filly or any horse in the Derby like this filly, and if so, I think that is his horse if she is good enough.
I don't think she goes to the Classic, though. I think the Preakness, not the Classic.
Usually, when was the last time a 3-year-old female ran in the Classic?
I don't know if there has been a time.
Yeah, because if you do have,
I can't think of any.
Yeah, the staff would be interesting though. Classic seems unlikely, but I definitely think. I mean,
and then if she loses this race, then you look at the filly mare sprint.
do you think there's any chance that, say, if she goes and beats Tiz the Law in the Preakness, like is she horse of the year caliber if she goes and does that and then goes on to win maybe the distaff, say, or whatever?
It would depend on Tiz the Law as well. I don't think one win over Tiz the Law is going to swing it because her resume isn't quite as strong as his. But if she then win and won a Breeders' Cup race, yeah, I mean, she's right there. But let's win the Kentucky Oaks first. This is not going to be an easy race for her.
Yeah, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I think, one of the questions that came up here, and this is a good question to kind of talk about as far as in general, like how the kind of talk is like, well, one, she's going longer than she's ever gone before, and then her allowance race, it seemed that was kind of that made her a little more vulnerable. And two, what will happen if she's tested, when she gets pressure, she's had this easy leads. But I think it's important to remember why they're easy leads. It's not because they're just easy leads. It's because she's just that much better. She's got this high cruising speed. Look at Venetian Harbor, who she couldn't hang with Gamine. And that's a very quick horse. I just don't know. You kind of have this issue with these horses that these trainers and these jockeys, they like, I don't want to go out with Gamine. Why am I going to pressure Gamine when it's only going to cost my horse any kind of placing whatsoever? So that sometimes you see these great horses who just have these unbelievable high cruising speeds and are able to carry that speed, that just naturally are able to get separation and get good leads because they are just that much faster than the rest. Yeah,
that's correct. And the thing about it is it's a 2-turn race and she's been setting the pace in sprints. So, or at least 1-turn races. I don't know if a 1-turn mile is a sprint or a route. That's kind of debatable, but either way, 1-turn races, shorter races, she's setting the pace. Now they're stretching out. There's actually a chance she gets an easier lead here than she's gotten in the last couple. Now, the one thing that I think, the one caveat, I guess I'd say to that is I don't think Swiss Skydiver is going to let her get too far ahead. But I don't see those two pressing each other early. I see Gamine ahead and Swiss Skydiver maybe 2 behind.
Yeah.
And I guess maybe Donna Veloce could get up there and press her. She does have some quick, speed early. Maybe that plays a factor. But honestly, I think she's going to be out kind of by herself again. I don't think you're going to get that pressure here.
I mean, I think it'd be very surprising to see Gamine not on the lead, early in the race, maybe after they, leave the first turn. Honestly, what it came down to me when it was like trying to decide between Swiss Skydiver and Gamine and which angle I wanted to play there, it really came down to, I think Gamine is a better horse than Art Collector.
Yeah.
And we saw that Swiss Skydiver just wasn't quite good enough to hang with Art Collector in the Bluegrass. Very good race. Art Collector's very good. I think Gamine's better.
I do too.
And so that's really what it came down to is like, okay, Swiss Skydiver, she's been doing what she needs to do, but she's beating, Speech. But I think obviously Speech is a level behind. She's beating Bonnie South and these horses. Don't take, anything against her. She's awesome and she's running very good races and she only can beat who they face, who they run against her.
Yeah.
But when she was up against Art Collector, she just clearly was second best. And when you have a situation when you have Baffert saying, I would have considered running Gamine in the Derby.
Yeah.
To me, that says a lot about what he thinks about this horse and that she could handle those horses, let alone Swiss Skydiver, who couldn't handle facing the boys.
Well, now the one thing I will say, I agree with everything you just said, but the one thing, I do think the Alabama may have been her best race. So she might actually be getting better. So she could be ready for a big one. Or she could bounce off that a little bit.
I'd say that's another thing.
At some point, she has to bounce.
With Gamine, who's only raced 4 races in her life, and Swiss Skydiver's in 4 races in less than a month, it feels like. At some point, you wonder, when is this going to hit her? Especially coming off a 1.25-mile race, whereas Baffert's been taking Gamine and obviously mile, 7 furlongs really lightly. Those were workouts, the test and the Acorn. So, what odds would Swiss Skydiver need to be that would make you think it's good enough value to bet? I figure Gamine is going to be no better than 4 to 5.
Well, I think if you like Swiss Skydiver, 8 to 5 is probably enough, right?
Yeah, you think Swiss Skydiver's she's been pounded the last 3 races, So if you think she's value, 2 to 1, I think especially is value. I don't know what you're going to see. I think you're going to Swiss Skydiver beats Speech by more links. Common opponent tells me Swiss Skydiver could be better.
It's not a terrible angle. I don't that's not always how that works, but I don't think that's a terrible angle.
Yeah, I think you got to be careful when you do that, but I do think that that's kind of an angle to go off of, especially when you're talking Gamine. Once you went longer, that's when it was a little closer versus. I think she's a different horse personally than she was in May as well, and so I'm not that worried about the distance as some people are.
Really,
not as much as I think is kind of the big factor. I just think you have a horse that's just freaky, and I think she'll be able to carry that speed. And you also have to sometimes consider what happens in these races that you have these freaky fast horses early on, and you say, "Oh, it's going to set up for these closers and whatnot."
Yeah, they don't.
But when you have Swiss Skydiver and Speech or whoever who you like trying to keep up with Gamine, basically keep her in distance there for the race, for the duration of the race, and then it comes time to your running time, the time you need to get going. All of a sudden, you've been spent trying to keep up with her. So that's a factor too. That it's easy to look at a pace and say, well, she's gonna go super fast and they're gonna fade, and this horse is gonna close and beat her. Yeah. Well, you got to be careful with that because sometimes they just run them off their feet, and Gamine has that. Let's be very clear about that. Gamine has that ability. She has that super sonic speed, and I know she carried it a mile 16th. She still won. She still beat Speech, and she could have gone. I feel like she could have gone another lap in the Acorn.
Well, and this is a really good. I like the setup where I'm a little worried about a distance horse, but I am really confident if she doesn't get it, then this other horse will win, which is Swiss Skydiver. So it makes it really easy from a multi-race. You just play those two. Yeah. And then if you want to throw Speech in, and you can in this situation, throw her in because the other races on the card, you can go short in as well that are around it. So if you want to throw her in to try to get that value, do it. And I recommend you do it. You're kind of hoping, but at the same time, you do know she's really talented and she has a shot. But if again, you don't have to get crazy here. They're very logical winners if Gamine can't get the distance.
Good question here because we're talking a lot about Gamine moving forward. But say Swiss Skydiver wins this race, then she goes and wins the Preakness. Does she have a chance at a horse of the year, assuming obviously like a Max Obscurity or Tizzle doesn't win the Breeders' Cup Classic? And I think for sure she does. If she goes, you look at like a Rachel or something. If she has the Rachel kind of resume. If she were to do doing that, goes wins the Oaks, wins the Preakness, and then goes into the Breeders' Cup. If she goes and wins the Breeders' Cup too, and Tiz the Law loses the Breeders' Cup Classic, obviously meaning she also beat him in the Preakness. That would give her quite the resume for Horse of the Year.
Swiss Skydiver actually would have a better shot at it resume wise than Gamine.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, she's she's a lot like in similar ways with Tiz the Law, just running a lot of solid races and just seemingly can't be touched.
I'm very confident Swiss Skydiver cannot win the Preakness unless Tiz the Law's not there.
Yeah,
I don't think she can beat Tiz the Law.
That was an interesting statement you made. It was last week or 2 weeks ago when you were like, basically, if any horse is going to beat Tiz the Law on the Preakness, it's not her.
Yeah,
which is kind of interesting angle. But all right,
I don't. If she can't beat Art Collector, I don't think she can beat Tiz the Law. That's where I'm coming from with that.
Finally, I think it's important. Yeah, this is interesting too. Mike Somich plus 285 for Swiss
Who is
Offshore.
That? Mike Somich, new guy. Yeah, plus 285. And listen, that's
account, I think.
John White will always say about the offshore. That's real money, you know. So that is an indication for sure.
So this is a good question, Jared, because this is what I was getting ready to say. Like, okay, how do you make money other than the multis? Like, do you play like a $20 straight exacta on Gamine and Swiss, or Gamine, Swiss and Speech, or maybe you get creative and say Gamine and you throw in She Dares the Devil or someone that you think, I just think Swiss is gonna. You want to throw out one of those favorites and hope that or try or whatever. So do you have any creative angles here, or is it more like it's going to be chalky? They're going to finish 1-2, and you either pound it or you move on.
I listen. I don't think an exacta is a great bet here because if you like Gamine, I think you're going to get. I think she'll be even. So if you get even money on Gamine, I actually think that's a good bet if you like her. And if you like Swiss Skydiver, I think you're getting the money there too, right? I mean, so the only way to bet an exacta, would probably be to try to throw speech in there somehow key her in first over those two, and then the top two with her in second, maybe. I mean,
now that's a very good. Obviously, Saratoga Slim. Very playing the Oaks Turf Classic Derby pick 3, crush Jack Brown's the middle.
Yeah,
but I also think it makes a lot of sense if you think about it logically. So say you have $100 budget and you're gonna play Gamines at even money, and if you're playing the idea of playing a Gamine Swiss Skydiver straight, but then you're also assuming that you have to get Swiss Skydiver to finish second too. Why don't you just play the win? Because now you're assuming, and then the exact is not going to pay.
It won't pay. The exact is not going to pay more than the win if those are the odds. It'll pay more, but it's not enough to make it worth the risk.
So to your logic, if you're dead set on playing that exacta or the try or whatever, it makes more sense to try to beat one of those favorites.
If you're going to play exotics, that's how I would do it. Exactly.
Get creative. Take your stand with Swiss or Gamine, whoever it is you feel, and then get creative underneath. You need because if you want to get paid for that, and if you can't get there, then don't play it. If you're like, well, I keep thinking Gamine is still going to finish second. Well, it's probably not worth playing then.
No. And the thing about it is, like I said, you've got 2 headline horses, right? So if you like them. If you like either one of them, you're probably going to get a win price that's playable.
Exactly. All right. So final win pick here is
Gamine for me.
All right. We're both on Gamine to win the 146th running of the Kentucky Oaks.
All right. We've got some Derby questions coming in. So that's next. Derby coming up here, guys.
You can tell when the Oaks kind of talk is getting.
All
right. We got it. It's like Gamine, Swiss Skydiver, whoever it is. Let's get to the Derby.
So it's like, it's 1,000 words going to hit the board or not.
Come on. I got shit to do, guys. I'm actually working, so we'll get to that. 1,000 words. That's I got something to talk about there. So.
That's this talk's going to be a lot about who can hit the board, because who can win. The list is very short.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's I don't know, like. The Derby, I think you can make some money in the Derby with with your exotics for sure.
Yeah.
I think that the exotics will pay.
Well,
I just think something funky is going to happen.
I'll save this for when the podcast is recording too, but this is the opposite of the Oaks, right? Because here you're going to probably have to play an exacta or try with Tiz to make money if you want to involve Tiz the Law. So where in the other one you really don't. I mean, Tiz the Law might be 2 to 5. Right. But you also have to, I'll save it again for the show. I'll say it again. But if he floats up from 3 to 5, he is a win bet.
Yep. Yeah, that's another interesting question too, because we got asked that a lot, and we'll talk about that actually on the live show. But whenever he ran the Belmont, we got asked that a lot, like on Mad Dog and stuff. It was like, what are you willing to take on him? And because it seems so low, like, give me something else. But no, listen, if he's 4 to 5,
take him. Just back it up.
Back up the truck and pound him, man.
He was value in the Belmont. He was value in the Travers.
Yep.
It's unbelievable.
Well, in the Derby, it's fascinating because usually the Derby is the time. We got 5 to 2 on Faro. Yep. Justify what was he 3 to 1?
Yeah, they were both right at 5. They both paid $7.80.
So you've got that's when you normally get those quote unquote values on these horses that normally would be a 3 to 5, whereas he is. So it will be interesting to see how the public, responds to that 3 to 5, or if they, if the values like gets pounded more on authentic or being at, what is he, like 15 to 1, 10 to 1 or something. And honor APs, things like that.
Yep. Let's do it.
You ready?
I'm wasting all my comments.
Don't. I need you.
All right.
All right. Hang on.
I just don't want to waste all these comments that we got.
All right. Yeah, I got to get this juices keep going here because we are
feeling
it. All right. All right. 3, 2, 1. The main event of the entire weekend, we are finally here. The Kentucky Derby, race 14 on Saturday. The Kentucky Derby presented by Woodford Reserve. It's a great one. Worth $3 million for 3-year-olds going a mile and a quarter. And finally, dude, it's finally here. We don't have a field of 20. We do have a field of 18, maybe a field of 17, depending on what King Guillermo does. Field of 18, we'll stick with that. And it was such an interesting draw. A lot of for kind of being unexciting as far as the very top heavy. It kind of came down to the wire. Tis the Law draws post 17, Honorary P is 16, and 18 is Authentic. So really, your top three choices, 3 to 5 on Tis the Law, Honorary P is 5 to 1, and Authentic is actually 8 to 1. So that your top three choices all drew to the outside, which is very interesting and added a lot of kind of stress watching this draw, because some of those inside spots kind of loomed there as well. But okay. So first question, because we get this question a lot. What are your thoughts on Tis the Law's draw?
Oh, absolutely, 100% the most perfect draw he could have, in my opinion. And here's why: if you didn't watch the live feed or the live draw, it was down to 2 posts that he could get, 2 or 17. 2 would have been awful for this horse. This horse has one weakness, and it's inside horses. He doesn't like to be inside horses. So if all of a sudden he draws number 2 and he's inside of 17 other horses, we could have maybe made a case to try to beat him here, right?
Right.
Well, he's 17 now. He's not going to be inside of any horse, because Authentic, right to his outside, will go right to the lead. He's to the outside. He might be a little wide, but that doesn't really matter. I don't think at all he's wide in all his races. Perfect draw for Tis the Law. Absolutely perfect. And I see the breaking news now. King Guillermo out of the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, so we did just reported by Marty McGee, DRF. King Guillermo is now out. I would read you what they said. Looks like, unfortunately, we will not be in Saturday. A fever yesterday afternoon took us away from the great dream. First is the health of our King Guillermo, who will be ready to show that he is one of the best in the country sooner rather than later. So
probably Preakness, I would say, for King Guillermo.
Maybe. We'll see. They didn't say Preakness, so that makes you wonder if they're going to – maybe we're going to take another 4 months off. Who knows? But no. So no King Guillermo. So we are down to 17. A field of 17, which – it's a bummer is that you've got 2 horses, our collector especially, and King Guillermo, who would have been interesting, added some intrigue there, that are scratched that at least gave you some, the 50 to 1s are staying in the race, unfortunately. So we're down to a field of 17, but it still doesn't take anything away from, and I agree, Tis the Law, you want him just to run his, I call it his cookie cutter, his very kind of machine-like race. And doing that, put him outside, away. Authentic's going to go. He'll clear. So Tis the Law literally will be the outside horse, and kind of and Franco can kind of just do what he needs to do and put him in position. It's, to me, Tis the Law is not in a situation where it's like, well, if he lost so much ground, he would have won. I think he's that much better. Give him the trip and let him run down the stretch. You
got to think there's so many dickheads in this race that could do something dumb and screw you up, and just nasty horses. Just stay the hell away from them. You're on your own race out there, and it'll be fine. I mean, I think he's totally in the perfect spot for him.
By the way, King Guillermo being out, are they in a lot of trouble?
The fans are done. Yeah, the fans are done. But
oh boy, okay.
Too bad.
All right, so before we get into, because I think let's first talk about how do we do this? Let's talk about some underneath horses.
Okay,
let's get creative, and then we'll give our top pick who we're laying on Honor IP, Tis the Law, because that's seeming like real quickly. I'm looking in the guide. I believe every single one of us. Yeah, it was either, and I think, frankly, they were top 2 in every one of us. Yes, so 8 of us did the consensus picks, and Tis the Law or Honor AP were number 1 and 2, one way or another. So that kind of gives you an idea of where we all stand with this. So we'll give you kind of our top picks coming up. But looking at the field, let's kind of talk about some of these horses underneath that could potentially make this thing blow up as far as your tries and your supers go. Hitting the super in the Kentucky Derby is just something that it's just almost our collector is going to show. I don't know.
We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll
Maybe
see what
a
happens.
late appearance as they're entering the gate. Art Collector jumps out. I don't think it's going to happen. Finnick the Fierce, a horse that draws the one hole. So we'll just go through the rail here.
Do you say them and I'll say yes or no as far as
that.
hitting the board?
Hitting the board, using your supers, whatever.
Yeah.
Finnick the Fierce, I can help you with that one. Max Player.
I think you can make a case for the 3rd and 4th spots. But I don't like that he got changed to Asmussen because Linda Rice didn't want to run in the race. That's the bad news. But I do think he's a try or super.
And a horse that probably will take some decent money just because of the thirds, as far as underneath plays. Because
he's hit the board.
Hit the board against Tisdalaw, back-to-back races. But for those of us that know, it does seem like a weird, we didn't want to run him, give him to Asmussen, now we run him. Enforceable.
I'm going to pass on him.
That's a kind of bold take. That's a very heavy play for a lot of people underneath.
I just don't think he's good enough. If you're going to take a closer, I think Max Player is much better than Enforceable.
Storm the Court.
Nope.
Major.
Nope.
Well, King Guillermo's gone.
Money
moves.
I don't buy that. Money moves.
Wouldn't it be an amazing topping to the year of 2020 to see Money Moves win the race with 0 Kentucky Derby points? Wouldn't that just be amazing?
I mean, he's not going to win.
Very fitting. Very fitting.
He could. It would be fitting. Listen. I think a lot of people think he's got a shot. I think this is it's a little too much to ask, right?
Yeah.
First stakes race is the Kentucky Derby.
I mean. Fourth start too, by the way. Lifetime start. South Bend, the lane entry.
No, I don't like that horse.
Finished 4th in the Travers. Mr. Big News.
No.
Finished 6th, beaten 10 by Art Collector in the Bluegrass. 1,000 words. Now this is a horse people were asking about earlier.
Yep.
This one is one of 2 Bob Bafferts in the race.
He's one of 2 things, and I've chosen that he's an underneath play, right? I've got him pretty heavy, and I think what's going to happen with him, he's going to sit a pretty good trip. He got a pretty good post, and I think he'll kind of grind it out, stay past some horses that are tired down the lane. I don't think he's great, but I do think he can go 1.25 miles. I also think he's kind of a little bit of a sucker horse a little bit too. I could see him kind of putting his dick in the dirt as well. Just because
I didn't think we could say that D word.
Well, and the only reason I say that, he was hot and then he fell off form and then everybody's kind of back on him. He beat Honor AP. Let's not forget, one race before he beat Honor AP, Uncle Chuck kicked his ass and Uncle Chuck was awful in the Travers. So he definitely has that sucker horse kind of appeal, but he also has that I can kind of just run steady fractions, run the same speed all the way around the track. And in a derby like this one, that could hit the board.
Yeah, he definitely feels a little bit like a sucker play underneath. At the same time, he has the breeding. He has that kind of grinding style. He can stay pretty quick up front early on in the race, but he also can hang on late. So to me, he's a very solid grinder in the race that I think could hang on for a piece of it late. So I would use him underneath. Necker Island.
No for me.
Soli Volante.
I'm a hard no on him. I think something's the matter with him.
Yeah. Ever since that, he finishes he had so much hype, wins the Sam F. Davis. Then he finished 2nd to King Guillermo in the Tampa Bay Derby. And you're like, okay, he still ran well. He just, ran out of ground. Then he comes back and wins that Gulfstream Park race. Really nice looking performance there. You're like, okay. And then they just, boom, 10 days later, run him in the Belmont. And ever since then, they've even said, that was a mistake. Yeah. It was.
Yeah.
Gets hammered in the race. He just had no shot. And now you're like,
where is he?
Yeah, and he just he's
working on the grass. I mean,
good luck.
I don't know about him.
Attachment rate. Now, this is an interesting one because John White really likes this horse.
I couldn't get there. Could this horse finish 4th? Yeah, but I think a lot of them could. I think there's worse 50-1 plays. I couldn't get there with him though.
Finished 2nd last time out in the Ellis Park Derby.
Best race of his career.
Art Collector. Yeah, ran a huge number that day too.
Yeah.
95 Bayard and some good rags too.
The only thing is, it's like Art Collector's barely cruising and this horse is all out and he can't make up any ground. It's just I don't know how good that really was.
Winning impression.
No.
Dallas Stewart upset there underneath. No?
Yeah.
To blow things up.
No.
New York Traffic.
He's the other one. I've kind of fallen for him. And the thing I really like about him, just really consistent. And he's hit the board in a lot of good races and a lot of big races. And he also has that style for me that's very similar to 1,000 Words, where he's just kind of a grinder. He's going to stay, run the same way all the way around the track. And I'm thinking he's going to pass some tired horses late there in front of him. And if he's still got a little bit of energy, I don't know how good those closers are behind him. He may just stick out, get the trip, get third or fourth.
Yeah, he's hard to knock what his resume has been this year. Finished third in the Star, and then finished second in Louisiana Derby, which, mind you, was a mile and 3/16 this year.
Yeah, and he stayed on pretty well in that race.
You're not looking at him as a win, but you're also looking at him. Okay, can he stay on? Because he's been able to stay on with some decent. Look at the last two, Maxfield, who knows what he would have been in this race. And
he's probably the second or third choice in this race if he's healthy going.
For sure. And then Authentic, obviously, a horse that we'll talk about in a second in the Haskell, about beat him.
Damn near should have beat him.
So you're looking at, I think, if you get anywhere near 20-1, I think he's very well playable underneath. So let's look for the three big dogs of the race. Number 16, Honor AP, obviously coming in off that loss in the Shared Belief 2,000 Words, but the Stancing Derby. I mean, hang your hat on that one, because that race was unbelievable. Just pounded Authentic that day and did it kind of under wraps. I mean, it was very, very visually impressive, and it had an impressive number as well.
He can win. He can definitely win. He's the only one I will say that about, other than Tis the Law. He can win. I don't think he's going to, but he can.
Is there a better looking horse in the country?
There's not, and there's not a better trainer in the country for getting a horse to pop in a big race. I think he's getting ready to. I think he's thriving. Mike Smith is pumped. He can beat Tis the Law if Tis the Law doesn't bring his best.
Here's the thing, and I'll go to John White for this in his article. But if Smith and Sheriffs can do it with Giacomo, they can do it with Honor AP. So
Honor AP was a horse I really wanted to pick to win this race, and I was kind of setting up to pick him to win the race until Tis the Law did what he did in the Travers, and it's like, well, that horse is just something crazy, but he can win. He can win, and I don't blame you for playing him one bit.
Tis the Law, obviously your 3 to 5 morning line favorite, the horse that's got all eyes on him, has not lost but once in his career, and that, by the way, was at Churchill Downs.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a sloppy track, had a lot of trouble. I wouldn't credit that for that issue, but I became just. I guess I'm not president of the fan club, because I'm guessing Magic and Samich would handle that. But after that Travers, I was like, sign me up. I mean, this horse is absolutely freaky good.
Yeah.
And he just keeps doing it. I just love his ability to do it almost just on cue.
Unreal.
It's like, okay, it's time to go. Franco does his patented now, looking back at the field, see, where everyone's at, and then he just cruises on down the stretch.
Yeah, you just have to make up reasons for him to lose, and that's just not something I do. I don't make up, if I see a favorite and I don't like him, I'll tell you. But I just don't. What can you knock about him? Absolutely nothing. And then,
he passed the distance test,
and he passed the distance test. He gets the perfect post for his style, for what he likes to do. It has to be a good feeling to own a horse and bring him to the Kentucky Derby and know all he has to do is run a regular race and he's going to win.
Right.
And that's all you can really say. I mean, he runs a regular race, he wins.
I mean, he can regress from the Travers and still win the race. I mean, that's how impressive the Travers was.
He might not regress much because of number 16 Honor AP, but he can. You're right.
Now, Honor AP, as good as he looked, still, I mean, if you're a buyer person, ran a 102 buyer that day and 109 in the Travers, both under wraps, mind you. That Travers, the time, the way he did it, it was just insane. And the fact that he wasn't a haul out to do that and still came back pretty fresh, has been working out like a monster. Yeah. Again, you have to make up reasons for him to get beat here.
Yep. And
in a situation that he drew too well for you to come up with, like, well, he gets traffic. I mean, traffic's going to have to. It's going to be something crazy that happens to him in order for traffic to be a reason.
Yep.
And then finally, number 18, Authentic. Again, another horse. Only lost once in his career, and that was in that San Antonio Derby to Honor AP. But it's hard to knock with this, as far as his class. He shows up pretty much every time.
Yep.
Runs his race. The issue with him and it's a big issue. Mile and a quarter. Can he get the distance?
Well, a couple things. I actually think this is the second most talented horse in the race. As far as Honor AP, I think he has like certain factors has to go his way. Like he's got to have a mile and eighth or longer, and he's got to have, he's got to have this or that. Authentic, I mean, he's going to beat Honor AP unless it's a mile and an eighth or longer, right? And so the race 2 back, the Haskell, all the fanboys and all the 0.00001% owners of this horse loves to talk about, oh, he was dicking around in the Haskell. He wasn't trying. That's why he got caught. Santa Anita Derby, he got his dick beat down by Honor AP. He absolutely got crushed by Honor AP. It was not even a race, okay? So that's my problem with Authentic winning the race. Do I think Authentic can get out ahead? And do I think all the other closers minus Tizzalaw and Honor AP suck? Yeah, I really do. And can Authentic hold on for third in this race? Yeah, he definitely can. But if Honor AP and Tizzalaw run the race, I don't think he can hold them off. I don't see any world where he can hold them off. Can he hold off New York traffic and 1,000 words? Yeah.
I think and credit to Slim and his awesome pace analysis article. But I think, it is going to be a somewhat moderate pace, and you're going to see Authentic kind of try to take them gate to wire. And I do think that closers are, I mean, it's a comment, it's a very very normal thing to see. Like, unless your name is Mind That Bird, right? You're not closing like crazy in this race, and I just feel like Tizzalaw and AP, they're gonna be closer. These closers are gonna be way out of it early. They're not gonna be able to. I think Authentic has that staying power, especially with King Guillermo out of the race now. Yeah. So I do think Authentic looms very dangerous to hit the board and be that horse underneath that. Can I see like a Tizzalaw, Authentic, Honor AP kind of situation? Yeah, I could.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely could. I got a surprise for everybody. So Eric Cord's a friend of ours that we last saw him at Gulfstream, and we talked to Tizzalaw. Derby Talk? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, this is him right here. He said, check your photo. He sent me a photo. I don't know where the camera. I don't know. Whoop, there we go. You can see it. That's the Tizzalaw crew. I see Eric Cord's in there too. They're in Louisville. They're game planning there. They're prepping, and they're watching the feed. So there you go. Well, Eric Cord's is. I don't know.
Eric, make sure they're watching. Yeah, make sure they know we're picking.
We're picking Tizzalaw, folks.
Tizzalaw is going to be your 146 Kentucky Derby champion.
That's right. No, so that's a thrill. Thank you for pointing that out. I wouldn't have looked. So yeah, thanks, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, what a hell of a time, right?
Yeah, and we're definitely rooting for you guys, 100%.
Jared's mom is not going to like. Yeah, don't stop saying the D.
Yeah, okay? Sorry. Yeah, I apologize to Tizzalaw's owners for that too. She
stopped listening a long time ago. Don't worry about it. So you can say whatever the hell you want. Yeah. All right. So it comes down to, it comes down to really who you're going to pick, Honor AP or Tizzalaw, and I think we just said Tizzalaw. And for those listening, it's like that's to me. Don't get crazy and try. These are clearly the two best horses we have. We've been saying it for a long time. Yeah. And let's not sugarcoat this. This field, for the most part, is absolute trash. Like, these horses probably, for the most part, should be running in grade 3 races. Yeah. And we have a grade 1 mile and a quarter Kentucky Derby for them to run in now. So you're going to see the cream rise to the top pretty clearly in this race. And to me, it's, even though it's not the fancy thing to do, it's Honor AP, it's Authentic, and it's, of course, Tizzalaw to win. So, and then you got to get creative. I have nothing against anyone that wants to play. That's how we cashed in massive on our try a couple of years ago. We had Always Dreaming on top, but then we went nuts underneath. Yeah. And that's what happened. And sometimes, it is the Kentucky Derby, so that things can happen. So I'm not going to say don't play some massive weird tickets. And believe me, we will. But when it comes to picking a winner, it seems fairly easy this year.
Yeah, it does. It does. And like I said, we're just not the kinds that are going to sit here and give you make up reasons and give you an hour worth of bullshit to try to pick some idiot horse. It's just not going to happen. Tiz the Law is definitely the most likely winner. If he's 3 or 5 or higher, he's probably a win bet. If he gets lower, go crazy underneath and try to get lucky.
We did actually already talk about that, Colby. So earlier we both like Gamine, but you can listen to the pod. We have it available later today to listen to that analysis. But also I wanted to bring up this question. Do you think Tiz the Law would have beat Arrogance Time if he wasn't geared down? And that's, of course, referring to the Travers. I do think he would have.
I don't.
I think he would have beat it. Even if you want to go back and forth. The fact that you're even mentioning that when Arrogant, when that performance seemed just out of this world.
Yep.
You're talking Secretariat type, situation here. So the fact that we're even mentioning that conversation, shouldn't that kind of give you an idea of what this horse might be able to do in the Derby?
Let me end it with this, unless you got something else. But I'll end it with this, okay? We're talking about a horse. We're comparing it to Arrogant. Maybe it would have beat Arrogance Time. Maybe he wouldn't have, whatever. His biggest challengers are a horse, Authentic, who was dying at 1 1/8 and barely held off NY Traffic, who hasn't won a stakes race ever, and Shared Belief, who lost, or Shared Belief, and Honor AP, who lost the Shared Belief last time out, an ungraded stakes at Del Mar. So 3 to 5 on Tiz the Law? Yeah, I'll take that all day.
Yeah. Okay. I don't say anything else. Tiz the Law is going to win the Kentucky Derby, and we'll head to Pimlico with the Triple Crown, a Triple Crown unlike any other year on the line.
Here you go.
All right. So, Cohen, my boy's watching. So, Cohen, what's up, buddy? He was upset. His mom texted me and said he's mad that you're not saying hi to him. So,
hi, Cohen.
Someone on here, please tell my son Cohen with a K, hi, and I'll put it up on the screen and he'll see that. That'll be cool.
There you go.
There you go.
Robert Witt says the 18 post will kill him, period. That and the last 8th of March.
Yeah. Combine those two. And I agree. I would have loved to see him.
It's not a great post.
He's obviously going to have to go. He's going to have to clear. He's going to have to spend quite a bit of energy. It does help that his 2 inside of him are not going to be pushed out of the gate too much. And so that's going to help a little bit. But yeah, I mean, drawing 18 for him wasn't ideal. Like, he's definitely one that you would have liked to see where King Guillermo was going to draw. Maybe he can make a deal and try to get in. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Thank you, Alex.
Thanks,
Alex. Very nice.
Thank
very
you.
Nice.
Yeah. So Cohen, what's up, buddy? You're famous on the show. But yeah, there you go. So we're gonna do rapid fire, and we're gonna obviously so much on Friday on the Oaks undercard and the Derby undercard. So we're gonna try to navigate this a little bit, and sometimes what we do for the big events, we'll do the race we're most excited to watch, the race that we think the most value in, and then obviously the one with the most likely winner. So we kind of had some same ones here and some different ones. So
yeah. How's it going to happen if Tiz the Law loses? He's going to miss the break by about 5 links. That's one thing. Or he just doesn't show up. That's the only 2 factors for me.
Do you think? So we're both thinking that this was very likely he wins. Heads to the Preakness with the Triple Crown on the line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how confident are you? Like, if he does this, I mean, we booked our plane tickets to see Pharaoh win the Triple Crown the minute he crossed the finish line in the Preakness, which is kind of our Preakness in a sense this year. How confident are you that you would do that again?
I will tell you in 25 hours how confident I am, because the Oaks will be done by then.
Okay.
If Gamine doesn't get 1 1/8 and, doesn't look that good, and Swiss Skydiver just looks like Swiss Skydiver, I just don't think anybody can beat Tiz the Law. And like Art Collector, King Guillermo, let's say they're healthy and they go to Pimlico, they're not beating Tiz the Law. The only horse I'm afraid of is Gamine at this point.
In a year like no other, it's been hell. We deserve to see a Gamine Oaks winner and a Tiz the Law matchup in the Preakness for the Triple Crown.
Yeah,
we deserve to see this. Mm-hmm. Forget the Breeders' Cup. I don't care for that point.
Even if it's Swiss Skydiver, that's okay. If she wins the Oaks,
that's I don't care which filly it is.
Yeah, just the head filly versus
the Oaks winner versus the Derby winner / Triple Crown on the line.
Yeah, it'd be amazing.
Because you finally get to, because normally when we see, it's just going to be a weird because normally you see these Belmonts, it's always like we talk about when the Triple Crown's on the line, you get kind of like the just whoever can enter, like the fact, you get not Frosted running against Pharaoh was the best, that was made it a little bit intriguing.
Yeah.
But you typically get just whoever they can get. Whereas this, and plus you're running a mile and a half, and it's just a weird race.
Right,
this is a very standard race.
Yeah.
And if you can get some good horses in there, it definitely makes it interesting.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man.
All right.
Let's pull up my first one.
We got to get off here. The big show's coming up next. Magic Mike.
Getting pushed. We might, guys. I mean, I'm not going to lie. If you guys want us to stay, we can make sure they don't get on at 4:30. Just saying.
We'll take a vote. Yeah. All right.
So let's do. We're going to do the race with the most value.
Race with the most value. Okay.
So let me pull up that one. All right. 3, 2, 1. Time for rapid fire, presented by the Racing Dudes Inside Track to the 2020 Kentucky Derby Wagering Guide. Get our all-inclusive 20-page wagering guide right now to the 2020 Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs on September 5th, this Saturday, Friday and Saturday. It includes the Oaks. Features in-depth analysis of 8 stakes races plus bonus race-by-race betting suggestions for the entire Kentucky Derby card. But that's not all. Get expert analysis from award-winning handicapper Mike Saratoga Slim Spector and Mike Somobomb Samich, exclusive Ricky's Rockets, bonus Kentucky Oaks analysis, top 4 consensus picks from the entire Racing Dudes team. 8 of us are on that one. Subscribe to racingdudes.com or go to racingdudes.com to subscribe. You get our premium. Any kind of subscription you get the guides for free. So right now is a great time to subscribe. $70 a month. You'll get this guide. If you do it on the weekend on Saturday, you'd also get the Preakness guide included as well.
Yeah, there you go.
So you'd get the Preakness, you get the Breeders' Cup. If you can stay a subscriber, all those are for free as a subscriber. Now available on the products page at racingdudes.com. So again, these massive days, we have a ton of stakes races on Friday, a ton of stakes races on Saturday on undercard. So we'll try to kind of condense this, and we're going to give you the race we think is the most value potential, with the race we're most likely the most favorite, the horse we think is the most solid chance of winning, and then the race we're just generally most excited to watch as fans. So we'll kick it off with the race with the most value potential. Where are you going?
Well, with the most value, I'm going to go with the Old Forester Bourbon Turf Classic, the race right before the Kentucky Derby. Which is interesting because we're talking about ways to make money. And I think this is a race you can make some money. Anytime Rock Emperor 7-2, that horse loves to lose, so I didn't go with him. Factor this is 3-1, but the horse is going to face a ton of pace pressure in here. I know he's won a bunch in a row, but I kind of think that the pace is going to do him in. It kind of is wide open. Then you've got Chad Brown with 4 horses, and that's good because it kind of spreads out the money on all of them. They're not 1 or 2 going to get pounded. So I went with Chad Brown that I think might be his highest priced horse in this race, maybe 3rd. We'll see. Number 8, Sacred Life is who I went with. They brought this horse over last year from overseas, and he just was close. A lot of seconds. He did win an allowance at Keeneland, but second in the Seabiscuit, second in Bernard Baruch. This year, kickoff, first race, the Pegasus. It's like, dang, right? Going to the Pegasus right there, the Turf Pegasus, obviously. Finished 4th, only beaten 5. It wasn't horrible. Comes back last time out at Monmouth and dominates. And I thought, man, that was a really sharp-looking win in the Oceanside. Now I'm going to put him back in this Grade 1 race. He obviously likes his horse a lot. Paco Lopez rode him last time. He gets them out here. I'm going to go number 8, Sacred Life.
Yeah, it's funny because we went on the same race, and sometimes this happens. We went to the same race. So it's interesting. We see the race similar, but we're picking different horses. And I do agree. This is a very interesting standpoint with the Chad Browns because I'm also going to Chad Brown, who's also a 6-1 shot. So
yeah,
definitely watch these odds, and I definitely think playing these multi races, like Slim mentioned earlier, play the Chad Browns in here and hope you get a little bit of value and try to beat some of these. I'm going to go with number 4, Digital Age, Chad Brown, Castellano to ride, Clairvich Stables. This horse has obviously been very well thought of in the past and just never has quite gotten to that level, but listen, this year starts off at Belmont, finished 2nd to Breaking the Rules to comeback winner, then comes back to win at Saratoga in July and looked really impressive in that race. Just kind of just a very smooth effort there, running the mile 16th. I think this horse is ready to pop running here and gonna show it his biggest race of the year.
Yep. I agree with you.
And that, frankly, would be the biggest race of his career. So I definitely think the fact that you've got some price potential here because it's a horse that's maybe been a little bit disappointing in the past when it comes to graded stakes races, but obviously has that kind of ability here. Castellano's ridden this horse in the past. You got the familiarity. And the fact that, I think that the race sets up well for a nice closer to kind of kick home. And so I like Digital Age. I like yours as well. I think I had that horse maybe listed second. So I definitely think there's an angle here with playing these Chad Browns in this race, and hope you get some value, because if you get a Digital Age or a Sacred Life or whatever, at 6-1, say, if you can dream, right? And then you kind of have that value getting into, having Tizalal or Honor AP in the Kentucky Derby. So I went with number 4, Digital Age. All right, let's go to let's do the race, most likely winner. So obviously tons of big racing happening on the Friday and Saturday at Churchill Downs. But what race are you looking forward to that you think this horse is just a dead lock?
The most likely winner for me is the La Troyenne on Friday. I think Monomoy Girl is a dead lock. I know she has to take on Vextatious, who beat Midnight Bisou last time out, but that was her first win in like 27 years, I feel like. And the last time, Monomoy Girl raced, she killed Vextatious. So I think Monomoy Girl is my lock of the weekend of the Friday, Saturday stakes races. I'm excited. And listen, she's right back, right? She's right back where she left off. She wins this one. She's number 1.
Now, let me ask this. If she goes and wins, like you obviously believe she will, beats Vextatious, who, like you said, does that really put like a kind of tower her back over kind of the position she used to be in over Midnight Bisou? Like, hey, listen, I dominated the horse to just beat you.
She already done it once. So if she does it again, right?
I'm just asking.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I kind of agree with you there.
Yep.
All right, I'm going to move to Saturday, and my horse most likely winner is race 11 in Longine's Churchill Distaff Turf Mile Stakes, and that's number 4, Newspaper Record. I mean, no question, 4-5 money line favorite should be the winner here. Now, listen, has to face a horse like Juliet Foxtrot, who I think is pretty decent. But listen, Newspaper Record. We talked about this a lot over the last couple of weeks with Sister Charlie and Uni kind of not being what they are. But hey, guess what? Move over. Newspaper Record and Rushing Fall are the 2 top dogs right now. And Newspaper Record has a win at Churchill Downs, 2 for 2 at this distance. This is right up her alley. I think she is. She has just been unbelievable in 2020. She's just like Rushing Fall. She's been so impressive. She's got that crazy good speed, but she's also able to kind of dictate things and is able to, if she needs to, not be on. She has done it in the past where she's not been able to be on or has to set these insane fractions.
Yep.
So I just think she's very versatile. Castellano gets them out with Irad Ortiz Stain at Saratoga. But, that's really not – you just got to hang on, I feel like.
Yeah,
right.
So, just point her in the right direction.
Yeah, just point her and let her go. So I like number 4, Newspaper Record, which is interesting because this is race 11 on Saturday card. And we got the 12th race, which is it's got Serengeti Empress, and you got Delfina, CC.
Yep.
And then you've got, of course, the one we just talked about with the value, and then you got the Derby. So where do you find your value? We'll talk, that's a little bit interesting because I think you can make money in that sequence if you play it right. All right. Last one, the race that you are most we are fans first and foremost. That's what the site is built off of. What race are you don't even have to have money on it. What race are you just pumped up to watch?
Well, here's what's funny. The race you just talked about. I am so excited to see Newspaper of Record, but I'm also really pumped to see Juliet Foxtrot. I think she's got a legitimate shot to pull the upset here. And why do I say that? Well, one, I think a mile on if the track gets firmed up by Saturday, which we've had a lot of rain, but it's supposed to be out of the area, a mile on a firm turf course.
Rain on the Derby day?
Yeah, right. Yeah, but if we get that firm turf course, Newspaper Record is still unproven on a fast track. But so on a firm turf, I should say. So it might make her a little vulnerable. And also, Juliet Foxtrot was in a length of Rushing Fall. 2 race or 1 race back, 2 race for Rusting Fall, 1 for Juliet. So she can run with the big dog. She's proven it. I'm still picking newspaper record on top, but I think that's going to be quite a showdown between those 2 horses.
Isn't that an amazing just stat? Like how many times newspaper record gets a yielding or good?
Well, and last time out, that course is listed firm.
No
it was
way.
not. It was not at all.
And the 2 times technically in her career they were legit firm, she lost. Now again, they were going a mile and 1/8, a mile and 1/4, but still there were losses. Okay, so actually I'm going to go with the race I'm most excited to watch, and it happens to be the very next race in the sequence. So that works out perfect. I'm just going to cover this whole late before, I think. I'm going to go with race 12, Derby City Distaff. This is on Saturday. It's a grade 1. It's worth $500K for fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, going 7 furlongs. And listen, anytime this filly runs in a race, I get excited. Serengeti Empress, 9 to 5, because she just lays it out there. You know, she just flat flies. And her last effort, or her race last time out at Saratoga in the in the Pal Arena was just
awesome.
Holy shit. I mean, that day in general was great, obviously, but she just flat ringing her ass off. And that was a really, really impressive race. She's one of those tough ones to watch. It almost seems like maybe they finally, I don't know why, finally are like, hey, let's keep running her at 7 furlongs. Let's just keep running her.
Hey, let's send her to the lead.
Let's send her to the lead and not run her at 1.5 miles. Or 1 1/8, I should say, 1.16 miles. Let's run her in one turn races where she can win.
Yeah.
Oh no shit, that makes sense. So yeah, here we are.
Yeah.
But not just her. You have Bellafina, who obviously is a very classy horse, but just always brings a lot of attention anytime she runs outside of California. The streak continues, by the way. The Blood Pack with Bellafina. I look forward to seeing that person log on. And then you got CC, obviously a horse that's very, very good cutback distance, and obviously just a very well-established horse who gets finally gets maybe that last race from her and Quinn L. Hirsch wasn't too bad. She's just, you get the cutback with her. That's going to make a huge difference as well. So I think she's going to have to, Serengeti Empress holding off Bellafina, holding off CC. You've got me a Mischief in the race as well, who's definitely
not a slouch.
No slouch whatsoever. So I just feel like it's going to be one of those races that should have a hell of a finish. That's why I'm most excited to watch. Again, the stakes racing is loaded Friday and Saturday. Go to racingnews.com for our tips and analysis for the entire 2 days.
All right.
The fans are getting restless. We are 4 minutes away.
4 minutes away from 200 for Magic Mike.
I wonder what happens if we don't have it ended by the time. We're gonna hurry. Okay, Magic. Look at this. Let's see who we got. Phillies like a hard and fast. Just makes sense. That is true. See, you get it.
Yeah. Hey, let's wrap this up, fellas.
We're getting it. We're getting it. We're gonna pump you up, and we're gonna end the sucker right now. Okay. 3, 2, 1. It's all the time we have. Check us out at racingnews.com for our free picks and our premium selections on our handicap products page. With the products link in the main menu at racingnews.com to learn more. Make sure to check out that 20-page all-inclusive wager guide to the 2020 Kentucky Derby at Churchill Downs. This thing is going to be massive. It is massive. Saratoga Slim, Samage, Somo Bombs, Ricky's Rockets, Magic, you and me. We're all in there. Vinny from Real Dynasty Picks. You've got Sean. Yeah, you got Sean in there as well. Slimmy just brings it. Of course he does. So it's a great guide, 20 pages. You cannot bet Friday and Saturday without checking out this guide. So go in and check that out at racingdudes.com. It's a great time to become a subscriber as well. The Kentucky Derby, Oaks, Preakness, Breeders' Cup, all here. We're currently covering 30-plus tracks, all offering free picks. We're on Twitter at Racers or Dudes, Instagram, Facebook. Listen to us on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Music, Stitcher, website. Everything's out. I'm going so fast because the Magic Mike show is literally like they're on deck waiting, and like you can almost like you feel them like watching.
Oh yeah,
like this is the 200th show. The 200th show. If you're listening to this after the fact, you gotta go check out the Magic Mike show. We're gonna be on the Magic Mike show. Crazy.
Yeah.
It's just a fan-based show that's gonna just be generally a fun show to listen to. If you're listening to us right now live, just stay here. Wherever you're watching, just stay here, and the Magic Mike show will be up next. and check them out as well. Just talking Derby, talking Oaks, talking who knows what else.
It's really a guess. Your guess is as good as mine.
It is. That's the way it is every week, though.
Right, that's true.
Of course, I don't listen, but I hear that it's crazy every week.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Oaks Derby, it's here. Go bet it. Come to the racingdudes.com to check out. We're on live feeds on Friday, on Saturday, 3 to 6 Central Time Friday, and I believe 5 to 6 on Saturday. It starts at 5, I think.
I think it's 5 to 6:15.
Okay, it covers the Derby, so we'll watch the Derby, and then of course talk a little bit after that, and hopefully we talk a little bit about Tiz the Law winning the Kentucky Derby. All right, anything else to add?
No, good. I mean, I would, but it's 1 minute till Magic Mike. So,
and I feel like I'm getting like constant texts from Magic right now. It's like, hey,
he's really
ended. Like, actually, and honestly, he's probably gonna be like, just kick us off because somehow he can do that. Yeah. Even though it's our show. Okay. All right. That is all. Thank you everyone for joining us. I'm Jared Welch. He's Aaron Halterman. Good luck in the Kentucky Derby.